To Major Steve, Mom, why does it have?
Hi.
Okay.
I smell God and anime on my side!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of. Okay, if you're listening to this, he's holding me hostage. He has the gun to my fucking head. He said he was gonna eat all my Cheez-Its. Please, someone, come help me. Today, we're going to be reviewing the play Lily Planted the Cocaine in My Glove Compartment. So let's hope we can get through the rest of this YouTube review before the cartel finds me and finally blows my brains out. The story is set in the mind of a young girl who is sadly going through an acid trip after just reading Dr. Seuss. And her characters that she comes up in her head are the main characters in the story. The primary one being Lily Wooleman. Lily Wooleman is a child raised by Woolemans, but is actually a Zoe being, which is the counter opposite of the Woolemans. The Woolemans are these wolfish, hairy mammal creatures, whereas the Zoe beings are kind of like a bunch of cauliflowers with legs walking around all over the place.
I have osteoporosis.
You little lesbian.
The plot follows Lily Wooleman as her and her family are torn away from their homes after being unaccepted by the Woolemans for the final time. This has been a recurring problem in the community and it's finally just getting ahead. So they leave, and Lily is born with this blue seed around her neck, and after a long time of travel, her and her mother finally reach a point where she is able to plant this seed and let it grow. Eventually, this garden grows, and it brings together the Woolemans and the Zoe beings by showing the beauty of coexistence. And that is essentially what the play is about. However, it's also paralleled with Lily, as she, being constantly torn between this idea of either being a woman or a Zoe being, has a transmittance of self-realization, or transient self-realization, that she is able to really come to terms with who she is, that she is neither a Zoe being nor a Wooleman, but just Lily. And later on, this idea comes to parallel the ideas of the little girl who is making this story up in her head, and she reaches a point of acceptance in her own life too, and by the end of the story, she's able to bring together the people in her war-torn world, just as Lily has in this fiction world. Well, some things that I like about the play is how they kind of represent the idea of duality in society. The whole thing is a allegory to how society, as humans, we have to perceive ourselves as different, and that shows in our society that we have to be white or black, or some people are, rich, poor, and we think we are lesser or greater than those based off those characteristics and not really based off of who we are inside. And that's also prevalent in the ideas that people themselves have to orient themselves to those labels. And the whole thing is, well, the play takes those ideas and turns them on their head and tries to tell you, hey, we're all just our own individual selves, and we shouldn't stick to these labels that society tries to prescribe to us. Simply put, I think it's a pretty good play. It's probably been my favorite so far that I've reviewed, compared to the other ones that we've had to do in this class. I think that, I think I'd recommend it to other people, and I think some positive aspects of it include the really good... I don't like the story itself, but I like the message, and even though I don't like the story, I like the way it's told. I think it's a really sweet and short little thing, and I like how it's about a girl finding herself in this fictional world that she creates, and how I think Lily is a personification of her in this world, so we can assume, therefore, that the young girl is Lily, and I think that really adds a whole new depth to it. While I don't like I understand it's from the concept of a child, especially a child in a fucked up world, but I think it's just, I don't know, I think it could use a little bit more pizzazz to it, a little more drama, a little more maturity, I think. And the strange words that I know they're fictional animals and stuff, but though they're easy to pronounce, they're just strange. I could like never remind them. I could never remember them off the top of my head if I wanted to like describe this to another person. So that's really my positives and negatives about it. I also respected the creativity of the piece. I just think it was a little sometimes. I feel like they could have done a lot more with the dad, how he floated away when he got drunk, and the shadow, and all those things. And that's really it. Otherwise, I like the world building, even though it's very Dr. Seussian, which I really appreciated. But other than that, you know, following that concept alone isn't necessarily creative, and the message has been done before, so you know, there's all of that. Personally, I think I'd give this piece an 7.5 out of 10, which I think is actually the highest I've given anything on this review so far. So kudos to you, Jose. If you're dead, at least we can put that on your list. All in all, I think that just about wraps up this reviewing plays while playing games. Steven, please give this a 100% so I can pass this class, and I will see you in the next review, which is going to be very soon because you're making me do like 5 more fucking plays. Love you, Steve, but goddamn. Toodles.